Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This is Paris. We're gonna talk about the Australian Grand Prix. First off, let's take things from the beginning. Great start by both the Mercedes cars. Russell first, Hamilton second. That was not what I expected. I really expected Verstappen to, take off from the beginning and never look back. Pretty much what happened, but had to work just a little bit for it. It was, interesting watch a Mercedes one too after some time. I'm not sure I enjoyed. I'm a Ferrari fan, so yeah, they did not go well. And since we're talking about the start, Leclerc, off of the race quite soon. Stroll pushed him out, stuck in the gravel. End of the race for him. I cannot believe this man's luck. I am extremely sad. I cannot believe this happened again. He cannot catch a break, and I really was hoping for a good result, especially considering that he scored a Grand Slam last year, and yeah, um, I was hoping for something better, but did not pay off. But what can you do? After the start, the race moved on. One driver that had a great start was Alexander Albon, but he had quite a crash, quite early in the race that brought out a safety car. During that safety car, we saw Sainz and Russell pitting. To be honest, at the time, I thought it was pretty early, and I still believe that it would be early. And as it turned out, it was completely the wrong decision because the red flag came out, and then everyone that did not pit under the safety car got a free pit stop pretty much, and that kind of screwed Russell and Sainz. And yeah, it was sad considering they were running first for Russell and I think fourth for Sainz, and they were looking good. They could hope for something good for this race, but yeah, did not pay out. After that, we had the restart. Russell was running in the top five and was pushing for something better, but his engine blew up. And that proves that it's not just Ferrari that has reliability issues, it's Mercedes too. And it's not just that Mercedes has reliability issues, it's the fact that they power, well, their own team, Mercedes, Aston Martin, McLaren, and Williams. So, pretty much half of the grid has the right to be worried about watching Russell, having issues with his engine because it's a long season. We have, I think, 20 races to go, and yeah, I would be worried if I was driving for Aston Martin or McLaren or Williams or Mercedes, obviously. It's an issue, and I think that Ferrari gets a lot of backlash for their reliability, understandably, but it's not the only one, considering the fact that Red Bull also had problems in Saudi Arabia. So I think this is something that they need to take a good look at because lots of drivers depend on the regions. Moving on, let's talk about Ferrari for a bit. I mean, as I said, Leclerc very unlucky. Apart from that, we watched Sainz racing pretty good. He had a good comeback when the first red flag, really didn't help him at all. But he had a good comeback and he was having a good pace. He was able to match Alonso's and Hamilton's pace, and most importantly, his tires had no problem. They did not wear out, and he was able to follow. So on that day, that was very disappointing for Ferrari. I think that's something positive they can take from Australia. And since we're talking about Ferrari, let's say that that penalty, come on. I mean, it really wasn't nice and it was confusing. And I honestly have no opinion, but I'm gonna cover that later too. Okay, let's move on to the midfield and we're gonna talk about Alpine and Gasly. His pace was impressive. I loved his fight with Sainz. I loved the fact that even after he was overtaken by Sainz, he was able to stay within 1 second and have the DRS open. And I really joined that Stroll wasn't, able to overtake Gasly and dropped back. So that shows a lot, and I think it's nice to see it considering the fact that Pierre, after Saudi Arabia, said that he needs a little bit more time to feel more comfortable with the car. So yeah, that's good stuff. One more team at the midfield that was pretty good, and I think they will be very happy, is McLaren. Both their drivers on points. Norris sixth, Piastri eighth. On top of everything, Piastri scored points in Formula One for the first time. He did that in Australia. This is pretty good for him. I think he's very proud of himself. And I think it's a good comeback from McLaren. Even, it was necessary a bit of retirements to happen for them to score so many points. It was good to see that they're there, and good stuff on them. I'm really happy to watch this team doing well. Since we're in the midfield, let's talk about Hulkenberg. He had a very solid race. It was good to see him up there. For a moment I thought that he might get the podium if Sainz got penalized, which he did, and he had been fourth. And yeah, it's not meant to happen, apparently. What can I say? So we also had two and Shinoda in the points, which means that all 10 teams have scored point in 2023. This happened with only 3 races to go, and I think this is a proof that the new rules do work. They need more time, but I think we're on a good path. And that being said, we must talk about the accident at the end. What a mess! So many things happened. Sainz crashed with Alonso, touched Stroll too, which kicked him out of the race. Gasly hit Ocon, which, well, this time was not even a little bit intentional. No drama there. He apologized afterwards. But it's a bit same towards Gasly retiring because he was having a very, very, very good race. And at the end, the decision that the FIA decided to go with, I'm not very pleased. I see why they did it, but I don't know, it just feels wrong. Also, the penalty for Sainz, I mean, I understand that he got the penalty for causing a collision, but at the end of the day, if you think about it, the driver that he collided with, ended up in front of him like nothing happened, and yet Sainz got the penalty. And it's kind of it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't feel fair. And they could go with the new order and then give him the penalty. I think that that would have been more fair. Or go with the old order and not give him the penalty. That would have been fair too. I don't think that the FIA got the right decision. Once again, I don't know how they manage that, but they have a way to make the most confusing decision, and leave us fans really wondering how did they do that. Many people said it was the right decision. I don't know what was the right decision, but that's what happened does not feel right. I don't know what to say. So we're gonna have a 4-week break until Baku. We're gonna have a sprint race in Baku. I think it's gonna be interesting, and yeah, let's see what's gonna happen next. See you in the next video.